Right, well, we've got a really good day of sport coming up. Loads to look forward to, Justin. Let's start with darts.
Yeah, enjoying the darts, Rob. And as me and you well know, sure, I suppose Dave Clark's has a brilliant article there. Carol caught up with Dave as well, so that's on the Paddy Power News app. I think it's interesting that he's gone for his NAP selection as Ryan Searle, AK Heavy Metal. He was very impressive, as we know, in the World Darts Championships. He ran Gary Anderson very close in the last 16, but he's a very, very good player. And I think Dave's NAP selection is Ryan Searle to beat James Wade at 11-10. And he's gone for Searle to qualify at 15-8. So I think if you follow Dave, you won't go too far wrong. Just to give a rundown on the betting, it's James Wade 5-4, Ryan Searle 15-8, Andy Bolton's in there at 92, and Adrian Gray at 6-1. So a couple of players that mightn't be familiar with our punters. But Dave's two best bets seem to be 11-10 for Searle to beat James Wade, and Searle to qualify is in there 15-8. So interesting viewing again tonight.
Excellent. On the horse racing and greyhound racing front, what have we got?
Yeah, we have 10 meetings down under Australia, so plenty to get stuck into there. Also, an interesting runner, Rob, at Gulfstream. You're probably aware of this fellow, Val de Lobo. He was formerly trained by Carl Buck. He's some decent form. Significantly, he won on debut, actually, at Gulfstream back in January. So I like the fact that his new trainer, Brendan Walsh, has given him a bit of time, obviously, to further settle in. So he has winning form at Gulfstream. And I think it's hugely significant that Louis Suarez, top jockey there, of course, at Gulfstream, he's working off a 33% strike rate. And I think it's significant that Val de Lobo, Brendan Walsh, has booked top jockey there at Gulfstream. He runs in the, it's a 4-year-old plus race. It's over a mile. And he's a very interesting runner. And he runs in the 8-11 race, I think. But Val de Lobo, I think he's the bet on the card at 15-8. And once again, Graham Byrne, our own Graham Byrne, has selections, very interesting selections and picks there tonight at Gulfstream.
Yeah, Gulfstream Live on Sky Sports Racing. What have we got on the football front?
Yeah, we have football front. Just to mention the Greyhounds as well. Aoife has picked out 5 selections tonight at Maple Sport Myers, Rob. The action gets underway at 6 o'clock. Just be careful, the races are due to go off every 16 minutes, but if you fancy a Greyhound or one of Aoife's selections, just be careful because they tend to run the races off pretty quick. She seems pretty sweet on JD Spellbound in race 7, the 7:36. It's a grade A race, so one of the feature races on the card, and her selection, JD Spellbound, has 8 wins from 30, so you can't argue with that.
Absolutely right. Let's move on to football.
Yeah, we have Belarusian Premier League action. I suppose it's football, that's what we can say. 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock kickoffs. Smolovici are in there at 16-5. They're at home against Dynamo Minsk at 5-6 to draw, and that match is 2-1. And Nemon Brando, 7-5, are up against Energetic. That game kicks off at 6 o'clock. 7-5 Grandon and Energetic are in there at 9-5. I think there could be a bit of value in the two away teams. Dynamo Minsk in the 4 o'clock game, Rob. They're 12th in the table, but they've 2 wins from 5, so their form is pretty decent. And then Energetic in the second game, well, they're 5th in the table. They've 3 wins from 5. Their opponents are really struggling. So I think 2 away wins at 5-6 and 9-5. The double works out about 4-1.
Lovely. Okay, we've got the NFL draft taking place early Friday morning, the first round picks, and we've got the second and third round picks then on Saturday night. Our own Graham Byrne has previewed that, but you might have identified a bet.
Yeah, I think for me, Rob, obviously the main story is Rob Gronkowski is returning to action to team up with his buddy Tom Brady, who's now with Tampa Bay, which is incredible. It's a bit like Pirlo and Ronaldo in the one team, but I think obviously it's a huge loss for the Patriots, and the fact that they're in there at 4-1 to have a quarterback as their first draft, I think certainly offers a bit of value. Obviously, they're in the market for a quarterback, what a replacement, Tom Brady, and Jordan Love has been mentioned as a potential pick for them, and also there seems to be a lot of talk about Isaiah Simmons. He's tipped to go to the Giants, and he's coming in for plenty of support. He's into 7-2 from 6-1.
Excellent. Okay, and we'll finish off with our ambassadors because Ruby and John Milan's columns have just gone up.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Rob, I know you're catching up with the lads, and I think they're keeping a lot of people going at the minute because it's terrible times. But I thought Ruby's article was interesting. Obviously, we've learned a couple of things about Ruby, that he loves athletics, because he mentioned Rhodesia and Usain Bolt in his top 10, which I don't think anyone would argue with. And also Tiger Woods. I know I've watched the final day of the Masters last year about 20 times at this stage. So, yeah, and obviously he mentioned Roy Keane. And Martin O'Neill was an interesting selection as well, I thought.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
And
John
of course,
Milan. Yeah.
John Melanchon, myself and yourself are talking a lot about the GAA. Will it or won't it? It's hard to know. We were clinging on to hopefully maybe July, and then the news came out in the last 24, 48 hours that it won't be till September at the earliest. But I think there might be a bit of light at the end of the tournament. I think that's for, in terms of gatherings. I think maybe teams, potentially club teams, might get back in action, hopefully maybe in June or July, and that might give county teams, maybe inter-county teams, a chance to get back training together. It potentially could be a situation where you might have games behind closed doors initially, and then if the news gets better as time goes by. I know John mentioned maybe Munster Championship in November under lights. It would be something to look forward to, all right. Just a couple of his selections. Callum Lyons, of course, Rob, Waterford. Obviously, Liam Cahill, he's got rid of a couple of top class players in the form of Maurice Shannon and O'Connors. I'm not sure how that's going to go down or sit with the players, but Callum Lyons certainly will have a big opportunity there. There's going to be a position at cornerback. Barry Nash, interesting selection. He would have come up with the likes of Cian Lynch and Sean Finn. So he has a serious pedigree at minor and 21 level. And Robert Downey, Corker, on the lookout for a fullback, to have been since Dermot O'Sullivan, of course. So I think he's a young player to look out for. Robert Downey, he looks top class potential fullback for Cork.
Yeah, loads of reading there. And remember, all the betting opportunities available on paddypower.com, and all those previews available on Paddy Power News ahead of Friday's action.